All right, what up? What's going on, Facebook? This is Truth or Lie Thursday, September 15th. I think this is the fourth question. I'm trying to separate them all into different videos just so it doesn't all run through together and I don't get cut off. So I'm just doing one question at a time. This question is a question I got a couple times the past few weeks. Before I even started Truth or Lie Thursdays, I got this question a few times, and I got it again. It says, here's one that I truly don't fully understand: tithing. It's preached in my present church as well as my last church. However, so many teach against it and teach that it's wrong to tithe. This is another question I got. I have a question about tithing. Are we to still tithe, and does Matthew 23:23 validate it? I do tithe. I'm asking because some are saying you're not required to. Okay, so my answer is this, based on the Bible. You are not required to tithe, but it's still wisdom to tithe. And what the problem with how we think, in the body of Christ, sometimes we think of everything in terms of heaven or hell, or all God's laws are about heaven or hell. Not everything is about heaven or hell. Jesus took care of heaven, and he took care of hell too. So, righteousness is given through Jesus Christ, so our salvation is taken care of. Most of God's laws are not necessarily about heaven or hell, but they're actually the principles that describe the way the world actually works, how God designed the world to work. And so, you're not required, you're not going to go to hell for not tithing. It's not a requirement, but it's a wise principle to follow, and it's how God has designed things to where you give the first segment of your wealth, to God through a ministry and through the poor. So it's wise to give the first segment of your wealth to a ministry as long as they actually fulfill, what we see in the Bible in terms of they teach the Word of God, they worship the true and living God, they give to the poor, and they bring people together for these purposes. And so just to give you a couple examples on God's law, you're not going to go to hell for eating bacon. You're not going to go to hell for eating shrimp or lobster. You're not going to go to hell for working 7 days a week, but when you get those diseases, when you get heart disease, when you get parasites, when you get high blood pressure, or when you just stress yourself out, God's laws were there to protect you from that. Okay, so God knows how He designed pigs. He knows what He designed them to do. God knows what He designed shrimp to clean up the bottom of the sea. God knows that. So His laws are based on how He designed the earth. So, it's really silly to say, well, this is law, that's the law, we're not under the law, you're going to hell, you're going to heaven for doing this and doing that. That's silly. What we have to understand is God's laws are based on how He has designed the earth to work. And so God has designed finances to work a certain way, and so those are where those laws come from. God designed our body to rest. He created the earth in 6 days, He rested on the seventh, and He set that as an example. So God's laws are here to protect us, and God's laws show how He designed the earth. So it's not always about heaven or hell when it comes to God's laws. Sometimes it's just about how He designed the earth, and it's wise to do it. If you don't do it, that's cool, but God didn't say it for no reason. So even though it's not a requirement in terms of that, spiritual way we think of, oh, you're going to hell for this, you're going to heaven for that, it's not a law in that way, but it's a principle that is very wise to follow. So that's the answer on that.